coding, and money shop.
You can count on us.
Green Giant red potatoes, 5-pound bag, only $5.99. Fresh assorted pork chops at $2.99 per pound. Chobani Greek yogurt, 5.3-ounce tub, just $1.89. Scott Chooser size paper towels, 1 roll at $2.69. Super Swat or Superbug insect spray, 430 milliliter tin, hot price $3.69. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Tuesday, the 14th of August. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. The husband of a woman killed in a boating collision last year today told the Supreme Court about the night his wife died. Mary McKee, a 62-year-old New Zealander, drowned after 2 boats collided on June the 1st, 2017. Andrew Lake, a 27-year-old from Southampton, is charged with manslaughter in connection with the incident. Jasmine Patterson was in court.
A tearful Arthur McKee told the jury all he could remember about what he termed that horrendous night. The court heard that McKee and his 62-year-old wife Mary came to Bermuda to watch the 35th America's Cup racing. On the day they arrived, they set off from a dock at Bars Park after dinner at a nearby restaurant. Mr. McKee said he and his wife, along with Captain Charlie Watson, boarded a small boat for the 5-minute journey to the Royal Bermuda Dinghy Club. Mr. McKee told the court that he'd racked his brains in trying to work out why the couple had failed to wear life preservers, saying it was a dead calm night and they hadn't been worried when they boarded the boat. He said visibility on the water was poor and he could only see about 25 meters ahead. His next recollection was that something went terribly wrong. He turned his head and was struck with the boat fracturing his skull and cracking his jaw. Mr. McKee woke up to find he was lying alone in the well of a boat with no one else aboard. He said he'd remembered screaming for his wife before another boat arrived and pulled him from the vessel he'd been traveling in. He told the jury he'd repeatedly called out for his wife, with panic setting in as he was taken to hospital. Prosecutors told the court they believe Andrew Lake was responsible for the accident, driving his 17-foot Mako boat Lazy Boy over the vessel carrying the New Zealand couple. Mary was hit by Lake's boat, they say, lost consciousness and drowned. The jury was shown photographs of the 2 boats by a police forensic support officer. There was blood splatter on each, and the small inflatable had damage to its engine and the rear right side was deflated. The police officer also noted there was no evidence that any lights were fitted on the smaller boat. The trial continues. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, still no word on what form FinTech-related education initiatives in the public school system will look like. That's despite assurances from the Ministry of Education that some aspects of this potential third pillar of the economy will be included in the curriculum. But Premier David Burt, in a recent interview with Gary Moreno, expressed confidence that whatever the approach taken, the results will prove positive.
Well, I think, Gary, and as I said before, and I will say again, we didn't get here overnight, and we're not going to get out of here overnight. But I have full confidence in the Minister of Education, in the plan of which he's laid out, working together with our stakeholders in education to raise the standards that are there. In addition to raise the standards that are there inside the public education system, there's also tertiary education with Bermuda College, the work that we're going to do there, the investment of which we're doing there, and there's also retraining that will take place throughout the community. There are a number of jobs in FinTech, not only in math and science, but also in compliance. You see that we've launched a new banking license. There has already been applications which have been submitted to the Bermuda Monetary Authority for new banks. So there are things that are taking place. Is it going to happen overnight? No, but are we going to make slow and steady progress? Absolutely. And I think that's what's most important. And I think that's what I said inside of my statement. We are making progress. We are not where we want to be, but it's important to recognize that we are making progress as time goes on. What I can tell you is that there are a number of people who are not only interested, but I can say that applications have already been received.
Any reactions from the traditional banking sector?
I think that the traditional banking sector recognizes and realizes that anything that assists growth in the wider Bermuda economy helps them. And so, as I had indicated in the statements when I had spoke about the new banking licenses, I had stated that with the new banking licenses themselves, that those are not going to affect the existing players because the existing players are not banking fintech business. But if that business is able to be banked by a new bank, if that business itself is able to generate additional economic activity in Bermuda and additional jobs in Bermuda, that will benefit not only the existing banks, but all the existing small businesses and the economy as a whole.
Well, there was plenty of excitement earlier today at the L.F. Wade International Airport as the Bermuda under-15 girls football team arrived home. Earl Basin was one of the many who greeted the CONCACAF Division II champions upon their arrival.
Bermuda's under-15 women's national team arrived back at the L.F. Wade International Airport to a hero's welcome. The team was met by Acting Minister of Sport, Levita Fogo.
We are extremely happy to have you here on this historic day to greet our world-class athletes, our female football champions, under-15 team who traveled all overseas, won 5 consecutive games in the Division II CONCACAF matches, and secured the championship.
Co-captain Danny Watson thanked everyone who had a hand in this team.
I just want to thank everybody for supporting our team through our whole journey, and not a lot of people know, but we hardly had time to train together as a unit before we were able to travel. But just going out there, being able to be in the same rooms, just connect, get that strong chemistry, helped us in our game a lot. I want to thank my teammates for supporting each other. I know the age difference sometimes gets in the way, but everyone was there supporting each other. If somebody was down, no matter how old they was there to be able for that person to cry on their shoulder. As far as the games went, I'm so proud of these girls. We gave it 100%, and you can see we came out with the result.
Coach Vance Brown was passionate in making sure everyone who has been involved in women's football would know they had a hand in this success.
This championship is not only for us as a team, it's for everybody in Bermuda, especially everybody that has something to do with women's football in Bermuda. This is for you.
Celebrations moved from the airport in a motorcade to the cabinet grounds, where the team was met by the premier and government officials, as well as family and friends. The team gave their fans the chant which has made them who they are today. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Still to come in the second of our specials on solar power, we look at whether the government could help lower income houses cut their bills and help the environment at the same time. Stay tuned.
Price Rate is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce. And an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
Welcome back. The PLP government may be touting the many pieces of legislation it has passed through Parliament, but the One Bermuda Alliance has cried foul, calling the process an abuse. Opposition MP Trevor Monez says he has grave concerns over the speed bills in the House of Assembly are being tabled and voted upon. He refers to the Bermuda Housing Amendment Act 2018 and the Road Traffic Amendment and Validation Act 2018 that were tabled and pushed through in this way. Tarai Trott spoke to him by phone today.
The situation is that there were certain bills that we agreed to do in an additional session, and those were bills dealing with anti-money laundering that were being done so Bermuda can get through its assessment by CFATF, the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. Then, after we agreed to do the additional session, just for those items, a number of other items crept in. And there was, I think there was an item to do with Bermuda Bar. There was one to do with the Road Traffic Act, to do with roadside sobriety, because they had messed it up before. We had to be corrected. And the final one, which is the biggest one, was the Bermuda Housing Corporation Amendment Bill, Bermuda Housing Amendment Act. The situation with that is very concerning. They are changing that bill so the Bermuda Housing Corporation can own and manage a hotel. Now, previously when we were the government, we had looked at the Grand Atlantic site, and we were trying to get someone to lease that property to own and operate a hotel from there, and those people were never able to get finance. So now the situation is that, as the minister said on the floor of the House, Colonel Birch, back at the end of March, there was a very confusing press conference where they said that they were somehow partnering with this McClellan and Associates group. They were going to partner with them somehow. They didn't say how. Everything went completely quiet since then. Then all of a sudden, this Amendment Act is tabled with basically 24 hours notice to receive first, second, and third readings all in one day. So we're saying, well, no, this is not what we agreed to do. And it's abuse of the process to do them all in one day. Are you suggesting there's a national emergency of some sort? And initially the Speaker had said that he would agree to it, provided both sides agreed. We didn't agree. But then subsequently the Speaker said it could go ahead without our agreement. So when we got on the floor of the House, we objected, and they overrode that objection. And the situation is that we were asking, what is the urgency with this? Surely it can wait 2 weeks. We can come back in another 2 weeks. I said, I'll be here. I'm happy to come back to debate this in 2 weeks. They kept saying it has to wait until November if we don't do it today. I said, no, we can come back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and do this in a proper fashion. And what I asked the government was, you're taking the Bermuda Housing Corporation, which is designed to provide low-cost housing, and you're turning it into an entity which is owning and managing a hotel. What expertise do they have?
However, in response, a government spokesperson told us the two pieces of legislation were debated and passed without objection in the lower house on the 10th of August. The Road Traffic Act will allow the government to commence roadside sobriety testing, while the government says that if the Housing Amendment Act had not passed promptly, the project, which will turn the Grand Atlantic into a hotel, could have been delayed until next year. It says the project will create jobs for Bermudians, and the legislation passed without any objections from the opposition. In other news, it's one of the ironies of the solar power revolution. The households that would benefit most from cheaper power can't afford to pay for the installation of the equipment. The government says it will change that, providing grants to poorer households. But as Hal Davis reports in the second of our stories on solar power, their plans come with some major limitations.
It's panels like this that the government wants to see more of. Small, discreet, fairly cheap, and they save people money.
We got an immediate return of 25% on our electricity bill, which was as promised. We kept track of it religiously for about a year, year and a half, checking every month against the previous year. I don't do so anymore because I know it's correct.
This system doesn't sell power back to the grid. It's simply a way of heating a water tank.
Before, we would run out of hot water quite regularly, particularly as the same hot water tank was servicing the kitchen, the laundry, and one of the bathrooms. So if somebody was having a shower while the dishwasher was running, or you were doing a load of laundry, you could run out very quickly of hot water. But now with the 80 gallons plus whatever's on the roof at the time, we've never run out of hot water.
Such systems are reasonably cheap by the standards of solar arrays, costing around $8,000 to install and tend to pay for themselves after about 7 years. The government sees these as ideal to helping spread the benefits of solar power.
The focus is on the installation of solar water heating into households that are most suited, preferably of low income, our seniors, or those on fixed incomes.
The minister says it's poorer households that could benefit the most from solar power because electricity costs take up so much of their income, and heating water is a major part of that cost.
Water heating in particular can take up to 30 to perhaps even near half of the bill of a household on a monthly basis of the electricity bill. So if you can attack that, you might actually have a high and significant impact on their affordability over a month's period.
But it's unlikely that we'll see a rash of solar panels all over the island soon. The government is only budgeting $500,000 for the scheme in its first year. That means only about 60 households will benefit, if the full cost of an $8,000 panel is paid. But the government hopes others will be encouraged.
It's a start, and that's what we want to do. We want to show the community how this can work. And the idea is if we can show the community that this can impact a household of somebody who we're targeting in a significant way, it is our hope that others in the community will also follow the same line.
So some hope of progress in making solar power available to lower-income households, but not yet the bold steps that some in the solar industry were hoping for. They say radical moves are needed if the future of Bermuda as a potential solar powerhouse is to be fulfilled. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Weather now, and anyone with solar panels will have had a profitable day today. Let's take a look from our camera on our broadcast tower. Well, a bright, sunny evening at the moment with little sign of any unsettled weather. Let's see if the forecast promises more of the same. Here's the AccuWeather outlook.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and hopefully you've had a great Tuesday. Pretty nice day outside today. Temperatures exactly where they should be for this time of the year, and we don't have really any major disturbances anywhere nearby. You can see that we do have some clouds off to our north and west. It's possible as we head into the rest of tonight that maybe we get a shower out of it, but otherwise it's just going to be a mild night out there for tonight. And if you've been following the weather, you know that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring a disturbance well off to our north and east, a few hundred miles away, and that has about a 40% chance of development. If anything, it would become Ernesto, and this is not going to have any impact on our weather. So the tropics remain quiet, at least for us here in Bermuda, and that's certainly good news because we're pretty much in the peak of the hurricane season at this point now that we're getting into the middle of August. Temperature-wise, it's been a nice warm day. Temperatures, again, right around average, 85 degrees right now as we take a look at some of the current stats. Humidity sitting at 73%. Winds are coming in out of the west-northwest, 8 to 12 knots. Light breeze out there, really nothing too bad. The water down to 84 degrees now. We were at 86 yesterday. Waves inside the reef, really no issues here either. 1 foot or less. Waves outside of the reef, that's going between 2 and 4 feet. So if you're here for vacation, nice stretch of weather. We could maybe see a shower or two as we head into the next couple of days. Otherwise, it's going to be relatively dry. Here's your tidal times. Our high tide coming in at midnight. That's Wednesday. And then our low tide Wednesday morning just before 6:30. All right, your forecast for tonight. I expect mainly dry conditions. Again, there could be a stray shower. Otherwise, it's clear to partly cloudy and certainly warm with a low of 78 degrees. We're under the influence of high pressure, so as we put our future cast into motion the rest of tonight, also into Wednesday, you'll notice some moisture is well off to our north and west. So Wednesday, even Thursday, both days looking pretty nice here on the island. So your forecast for tomorrow here in Hamilton, 86 degrees. That's exactly where we should be right now. 79 for the low, so it stays mild into tomorrow night. And we are calling for sunny to partly cloudy conditions. If you're doing any traveling, maybe you're heading back home, Toronto in Canada, 87 degrees for your Wednesday. New York City, 88, some drier weather across the East Coast after there has been some major flooding early this week. We have a couple of tropical waves to our south that are producing some showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, again, the Atlantic basin remains relatively quiet. Your extended forecast here, nice weather. As we take you into the weekend, temperatures staying in the mid to upper 80s, overnight lows staying in the upper 70s, and we'll have a good deal of sunshine as we get closer to the weekend.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BFNM 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
This is Rick Blomquist of De Pere, Wisconsin. His life is pretty comfortable. He lives in a comfy home, wears comfortable shoes. He even has a comfortable job. Rick Blomquist thought he had comfort all figured out. But then he laid on a Serta and realized his life was only just sorta comfortable. The new Serta iComfort Hybrid Mattress. Not just sorta comfortable, Serta comfortable.
Feel the difference a good night's sleep can make. Exclusively available at Dreams, Bermuda's only mattress gallery.
89-year-old Canon James Francis is one of the island's best-known clergymen, and he's not afraid to speak his mind, even on controversial topics like same-sex marriage. In the second part of his interview with Bermuda Broadcasting's Mike Sharp, he spoke about gay marriage along with a host of other topics.
Canon Francis, I've got to go back to the Human Rights Commission again, and this time it's about same-sex marriage. The church, Anglican Church, has been relatively quiet on this. What are your thoughts on same-sex marriage?
I can't speak for the church. I can only tell you that, if Jesus were in Bermuda walking around today, I don't think he would take much time talking to anybody about sex marriage. I don't think so. I think he'd be more concerned of what are you doing with the educational system? What are you doing with our young black men? What's happening to our children? What's their future? I think he'd spend more time on that. My thing is, if God loves me and loves all mankind, he's got to love them too. And I would let God deal with them. But if they come to me, come to my church, come to me for service, I have to be there to love them and care for them. There's no way I can put them aside if God hasn't already taken them off the face of the earth. My job is to listen to them and to minister to them, no matter what.
Final question, Canon Francis. Now that you've retired, you have free time. What exactly are you going to do?
I'm just available for anybody who needs some help in terms of leadership, in terms of empowerment. I'm there. I'm not looking for anything, but I'm available. I've developed skills over the years that I think can be helpful, beneficial to my church and all the other denominations and community groups. So I'll offer them.
I thought that was my final question, but I do have one more. What would you say overall is your greatest accomplishment?
Taking people that I've met, children, adults, who didn't think they can do anything, and work with them and talk with them and just be their friend. And they turn around and they can tell you later on what you did to them. It's a hard thing. It's here. Let me say this, that Bermudians are the greatest people in the world. Bermuda is the greatest place in the world. I don't think we realize that. But if we could just, I said last Sunday, let's up our game. Let's stop faking it to make it.
Mike Sharp at the home of Canon James Francis, a man who's been dedicated, serving his whole life to God and the community over the years. It's been really wonderful speaking with him. Mike Sharp reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. I think Canon Francis is 69, not 89. Still to come, Earl Basden will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes, including more on the victorious girls under 15 football team.
You can count on us.
Golden ripe pineapples, hot price $4.99. Fresh Purdue chicken leg quarters, hot price $1.49 per pound. Kraft mayonnaise 30-ounce jar, hot price at $4.99. Kellogg's Fruit Loops or Corn Pop cereal, 19-ounce box, just $7.99. Sargento sliced cheeses, 6.7 or 8-ounce packages, hot price $3.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to present the second round of the 115th Annual Eastern Counties Cup competition, featuring defending champions Cleveland County Cricket Club and challengers Flats Victoria Cricket Club at the Seabreeze Oval, Bailey's Bay. Join the island's leading cricket commentary team of Aaron Richardson, Wendell Smith, and Dwayne Sluggo Levrock with live ball-by-ball coverage. Saturday, August 18th, starting at 9:45 a.m. on Power 95 FM, the island's #1 station for your Eastern County Cup competition. Brought to you by Lindell's Group of Companies, John Barrett & Son Limited, Polaris Holdings, and Money Shop.
Welcome back. Well, as we saw earlier in the newscast, Bermuda's under-15 girls football team arrived back on the island today, and Earl Baisden was on hand to capture this memorable occasion.
Bermuda's under-15 teams are celebrating their Division II championship win right here in Bermuda. Coach Nikita Robinson was elated with the performance of the girls.
And what I like about this is that now they can train harder because they want to always have this feeling. So it's not going to be about making sure you're at training. Ladies do what you have to do at training. So what I don't see in respect to the cricket side is that we won't regress. So Bermuda, again, just have patience. There's girls you haven't even seen yet that are playing for Bermuda. And, you know, if you want to see some football, some girls playing, and some of these girls I'm going to invite to play. There's a college team here. We play them tomorrow at 6:30 and on Thursday at 6:30 at the BFA field. So, you know, for you guys to just read about us or see, you know, little WhatsApps, come out and see what Bermuda has to offer. And encourage the girls, you know, try to stay away from the criticism and the judgmental, you know, comments. Actually come out and support these young ladies.
Co-captain Koa Goodchild was just excited that she had the opportunity to lead these young ladies.
I just wanted to, on behalf of the whole team, say thank you for everything that you've done for us, all the support from home and from the games. We wouldn't be able to do it without the support of everyone here. And to the girls, I just want to say thank you so much. You made like this tournament and my first captaincy very easy, and I'm just very proud of you guys.
3 Bermuda athletes continue competing in the BizFed 2018 World Bocce Championships going on in the UK. Uche De Silva Andrade, competing in the individual BC2 division, went down 6-2 to her opponent from Mexico. Steve Wilson went down 10-0 to his Greece opponent. Wilson would then fall 6-1 to a competitor from Croatia. Omar Hayward went down in his first match of the day and his second of the tournament, 8-5 to his opponent from Japan, and that was in the individual BC1 division. Hayward would then fall 4-0 to world #1 David Smith from Great Britain. This past weekend saw the Western County 2020 League as well as the Premier and First Division Championships take place. Once again, we bring you the top performers with both bat and ball. In the batting department, Kwame Tucker, representing the Southampton Rangers, was the top scorer for the week with a knock of 78 during the Western County Cup. With a knock of 68, saw Kamau Levrock, representing Flats Victoria, have the second highest score, and Ricardo Bringman from the Southampton Rangers was the next highest with a knock of 65. In the bowling department, Mackay Young from Cleveland County had the best figures of 9 overs, 1 made, and 6 for 33 during the First Division Championship match. Onias Bascom from St. George's Cricket Club had the second best figures of 4 overs, 4 for 16, and Flats Victoria's Nelson Bascom had the third best of 7 overs, 1 made, and 4 for 16. Mackay Ritter began competing in the 2018 LCA 14 and under tennis tournament in St. Lucia. Ritter, playing in Group 5, went 3-0. Ritter defeated Saquiv Williams from Trinidad 5-4, 4-1. He also defeated Alexander Small from Barbados in straight sets 4-1, 4-2. He then got by Peterson George from St. Lucia 4-1, 4-love. Bermuda Olympian sailor Jesse Kirkland finished 4th, competing in the 505 North American Championships in San Francisco. Kirkland recorded 11 top 10 finishes in the 23-boat fleet, winning the 3rd race and finishing 2nd in the 1st race. Lisa Blackburn stood atop of the Mac Cycle Sprint Triathlon Trilogy #3 age group podium. Blackburn finishes the first female finisher in the female 45 to 49 age group with a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 2 seconds. Blackburn finished 79th overall. She clocked 5:19 during the swim, 30:21 on the bike course, and 27:56 on the run course. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. Well, that's it from us for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer, and I hope to see you at the same time tomorrow. Have a very good evening.